so much for both of those. It's really such a pleasure to be here with Dinah and Erik, and with virtually with all of you and with Greenlight. It's really an amazing reconstitution of what would have been an amazing evening in Brooklyn. I'm going to take a little clue from Dinah and also give the epigraphs to the book. I actually have two, and the ocean really is insistently doubled as a book. I'm trying to figure out something that I don't understand, and the only way I can do it is to try to describe it as two things at once. And so I'm going to give an excerpt from the first chapter, which is really about trying to grapple with the doubleness of the ocean. And one of the ways I try to signal that in the book is through these two epigraphs. So the first one is from Rachel Carson, from her book Under the Sea Wind, published in 1941. She writes, "I realized that the sea itself must be the central character, whether I wished it or not." And then the second epigraph is from Moby Dick, and it's from Father Mapple's sermon early in the novel that Ismail hears in the town of New Bedford. And he says, "Shipmates, it is a two-stranded lesson." So with that, I'm going to give you just about maybe half of the opening of the book. Whenever anybody asks me about this book, I say it's a history of the ocean, and it starts at the beginning 4.5 billion years ago with planetary formation. And also that it's really a very personal book. It's about my personal relationship with the ocean. So I'm going to give you the 4.5 billion years ago part, but also I hope suggest some of the ways that it is really personal. So this is the first chapter. Two stories herald ocean's arrival. In what used to be the most common explanation of the blueness of our planet, alien water splashed through space onto an icy comet that splashed down onto barren rock. In a newer alternative explanation, ocean was here all along, its waters stored inside the planetary core of rocky material that gathered together billions of years ago when the planet formed. Water, the element that fills up the ocean and makes life possible, either dropped from the sky onto a dry planet or oozed out from a solid center. It is alien or it is core. These rival possibilities establish ocean as an ambiguous thing from its prehistoric origins. It is an object with two meanings, two origins, and two stories. The alien story describes the radical intrusion of external forces onto a stable, if lifeless, planetary system. Think of that dry rock in the void, 4.5 billion years ago, newly created and circling the sun. Onto its jagged surface splashes an ice comet with its alien cargo. The newly arrived ice melts, spilling across our planet's surface and reforming our Earth as moist and ready for life. So much depends upon this chance encounter in the void, this alien moisture from above. Space water, while not itself living, creates the conditions without which life cannot exist. But in the core story, no skyborne messenger appears. Water instead arrives with the rocks that accrete into the planet on which we walk today. In this version of events, the massive impacts and forces that facilitate planetary creation also conceal water inside the planet's rocky core, from which depths it seeps up to fill surface basins over geologic time. Ocean need not descend from the sky, but instead the great waters emerge hidden from the oldest rocks on our planet. I don't have the expertise to judge between these scientific stories, but I know why the split matters. These are stories about the origins of ocean and the blueness of our planet. Without water and without a planetary temperature range that includes all three phases of this substance, solid ice, liquid water, and gaseous vapor, life as we recognize it could not have developed on Earth. Ocean origins are birth stories. Did we come from the sky or from under the ground? What does it mean that we do not seem to be able to choose? Are we alien or core? The story of oceans' fall from the stars reinforces our terrestrial alienation from the soup of life. We fear the ocean, especially in its stormy moods. Sailors and swimmers both know that human bodies can't go there to stay. Ocean surrounds our dry homes as a place of risk, vulnerability, and weakness. We live near the water, we employ them, and we love them, but they are not our home. Is our ocean alien or part of our essential core? The interlaced stories of how humans have imagined and interacted with the oceans over time show that both of these contrasting narratives have lasting truths. Ocean defines our inhospitable home, but even that oxymoron doesn't quite capture the tension and urgency, dependence and fear in the human-ocean relationship. I'm going to skip over just a little bit and get to one more section of this. I feel both these feelings, the alien and the core. Every day I walk down the street to a crescent moon of gritty sand that bears the unoriginal name of Short Beach. I look out past a pair of rocky headlands onto Long Island Sound. On clear days, I glimpse the north shore of the island, about 25 miles distant. Sheltered from northeast trending hurricanes by the massive glacial moraine of the island, my bay in Connecticut is a relatively calm body of water. But like all saltwater inlets, it flows into the circling currents of the world ocean. Every day in summer and fall, I throw myself into the water's gray-green embrace and think about what it means to put my singular body into the largest object in the world. It's disorienting and pleasurable, and it helps me think. Thank you.